Well, it started off, just want to obviously send out a tweet last night, but Chancellor Jones, from the first time I was contacted here at the University of Illinois, I did a Zoom call with him when I was at the Giants. I remember it like it was yesterday. Just have really enjoyed his, not just his leadership and his obviously role on this campus, but who he is as a person. We're actually neighbors. He lives right down the street from me, so can't say we've broken a lot of bread, but we wave at each other a lot. And literally the first day I moved into my house, he was in my driveway right behind me. So just an incredible man, stands for all the right things. I always say, everybody in this world has a profession they choose, right? And a lot of people just go to work every day, but he lives that job, and it's just been an awesome influence in our community. So hats off to him on his next endeavor. From our standpoint, we've had a lot of good practices bye week to this week. I thought our Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday probably been the best week we've had collectively, offense, defense, special teams. Just been really excited where we are from an injury update. Really the only guy that, will be out that, started the Minnesota game was Dylan. Obviously, he's out removed, but Xavier, Pat Bryant, anybody that had anything that last game, that's all taken care of and shouldn't be any issues for Saturday. Really, that's about it. It should be a good day. A senior day means a lot. I've been doing this a long time. I remember my first senior year, or my first senior day as a head coach. I saw the emotion of our players, saw the emotion of the parents that they're around, right? So it's a really cool moment. Want to make sure it's memorable for everybody, but then we got to refocus and jump back in. It's a little bit unusual. We take the field so early. That sounds like a little thing, but it's a big thing, just getting our guys ready to play. So it's some things that we talk about between now and then that are very important, and to honor our seniors, but also our fans. This has been one of the best years in Illinois football history here of recent. To win 5 games, have a chance to win 6, I think it would mean a lot, not just to our players, but our fan base, and hopefully put that in order on Saturday. And with that, open up for questions.
I guess what made for a good Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe the best you've had?
What made what?
For a good Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
You know what? Just, first, it always helps to have a bye week, right? So we do, in Brett Moore's stats, I saw we've done very well in bye weeks, right? And I think the fact to have extra preparation, this is a little bit unusual because they also had a bye week, but I thought our guys did the best they could during the bye week to recover, get themselves right, then jumped into Michigan State prep going back to last Thursday, and I think knowing the plan, executing it, and we were all out there today. I don't know if we're gonna have the moisture of Saturday that's out there today, but that wind's a big factor in Memorial, and to get practices like that today, especially in the kicking game, was huge.
We were talking to Pat. He stayed, even though Lovie Smith. Pat Bryant. He's recruited by Lovie Smith. He stayed. Transfer portal offers. He stayed. What was it like just to see him stick it out for 4 years?
Well, I'm so fortunate. So many times in your life you are beneficial to things that you didn't have any idea were waiting for you, right? And Pat Bryant signed on a Wednesday. I got a job on Friday, so I never really had a chance to be around him before he made it official. I'm just glad he had the faith in that. Now, over that course of time, especially going even into this year, just the relationship that I've been able to build with him has been something that just means a lot to my heart, and where he is, who he stands for, what he represents. We had 4 NFL scouts in today, and a couple of them asked me specifically, what's been the difference, and I'm like, just the evolution of who he is, what he is, right? He's in our building every day at 5:15 a.m. He's been here about an hour and a half, hour 45. He's here before a lot of the people in this building are here because he goes through his daily routine. He lives that process. He learned that. He would tell you that one of the things he took from Isaiah Williams was the process of being a good football player, and he's passed that on to this generation of players in our building now, and super excited where he is. He's getting married. I know him and his fiancee got a bright future together, and then football-wise, I think it's going to be unlimited.
He had told us that he didn't think that he would be a college football captain ever. When did you see him begin to grow into?
Yeah, probably. There were certain times. I go back to the Wisconsin game a couple years ago. He really kind of took a moment there that he affected the game, and I saw that pride in his eyes. And then to get around his parents, and then really last year after Casey and Isaiah, Isaiah had been such a strong leader in that room, and I think he challenged Pat to take that leadership role, and that's when I began to see last January, February, March, then during spring ball, but especially this summer when I asked him to be a part of media day and to represent us. The more you have given him, the more you have fed him, the more he has eaten, and he's just really, truly turned into one of the great, in my coaching career, one of the great senior stories.
But Kanena, his process coming back from that ankle took a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But you saw him out there against Minnesota. Is he a guy who could play more line of scrimmage snaps for you guys, and he's been a good pass rusher?
He has, absolutely, and I think the part that when you're coming back from an injury of the level that KO had, like I remember being in the locker room at halftime, and they said, "Coach, this is a pretty significant injury, right? And nobody's going to be more suited to do that than KO. But a lot of times when you have great people coming back from injuries, sometimes they aren't even aware of how bad that injury was, and it's taken them a while to get to there. But I think with the injury to Dylan, that's going to open up windows. Plus, just down the stretch here, it's kind of like, hey, we kind of know all of our players' strengths as well as any, and he's been good on the edge and up the middle on pass rush down. So I definitely feel that's something that's coming.
I guess for Ryan Mead, I mean, what's somebody say about him, the path he took from walk-on 6 years ago to maybe being kind of indispensable at linebacker?
Yeah, he's a guy, another one that truly benefited from, had no idea, what was waiting here. I was the first guy to put him on scholarship. I always take that with a lot of pride because I think he's deserved it, earned it, worked for it. A year ago, I think it was kind of, I don't really follow PFF. I don't really believe in that stat all that much, but I know they awarded him as the Special Teams Player of the Year because statistically he did a lot of really good things. And that made a statement to me during the out of season. I know we made a vaunted effort to try and get him involved in the game as a linebacker. I know the arrival of Archie, I think, really opened up a window to him that him and Archie bonded quickly, and Archie's been very, very instrumental in the way he's playing right now at the line of scrimmage, which I think is a testament to both Ryan and Coach McDaniel. So, another good story. We have so many great things. Senior day, I got my Nike shoes last night, right? We get for every home game, and I was sitting there looking at them, and our seniors' names are on my shoes, right? And I never thought I'd say this, right? But I just sat there and looked at the shoes because they also represent a lot of great stories, right? And that's why we do what we do.
Coach, in the old days in the Big Ten, you would play Michigan State every year.
Yeah.
Now you get them every 5 to 6 years. Is it going to be harder to kind of get to know teams, get to know programs over the years? For coaches, how do you do it? How do you adjust to that?
Yeah, great question. Twofold. When this schedule came out and then when the transition happened at Michigan State, because when I first heard it, I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to play the old coach who used to be there. And then powers that be and the things that changed, brought that. So I had actually watched Coach Smith quite a bit just because a couple of my young coaches were working for him.
Yeah.
So I'd always watched Oregon State and saw how they had played. And then when he came in this league, and then he hired Rossi from Minnesota to his DC. So, yeah, I've been watching him for a while. I think certain teams still have their demeanor, right? Michigan State, I've played against these guys since 1988, right? That was a long time ago. I think they always have a certain type of play. They're tough, really good, physical football team. So I think there's a tremendous challenge. Obviously, the last time we saw them here in 2022, that was a kind of a game that's kind of forecasting weather-wise to be what Saturday is, and that was a huge factor. So a lot of things going into it, but it's every Saturday, and this Saturday just happens to be a group coming in from East Lansing, and we'll take advantage of the opportunity.
JC Davis, how important was getting at that position?
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of younger guys kind of in the
Yeah.
mix there, but to get him to come in and be a one-year bridge for what you have coming up.
I give a lot of credit to Pat Hamilton and Jay Kaiser. Really, that connection was through Bart. Bart, played at New Mexico with his O-line coach, and then B. Bell, who's here now, was his GA, and then their offensive coordinator. So there's a lot of connect the dots moments. But I remember specifically being in the Smith Center on a Wednesday night, and I watched J.C. Davis play for the first time. I think we watched like 22 tackles that night, and I listed him number one. I just thought that in that portal at that point, he was the best tackle that I saw. And then he learned his story, learned a little bit about him. We talked to him on the phone. And then he was the very first player I went to see in the portal. I went that night to Albuquerque, New Mexico, had breakfast with him the next morning, and really just I love because what I saw on tape, I saw manifest in front of me. He's a very serious, good demeanor, really good high football IQ. I think at the next level, he has both tackle and guard value and flex. Extremely intelligent. Mom and dad his family are probably one of the most enjoyable home visits I've ever been out in the Bay Area. That he don't say anything because he can't, because that house is full of chatter, right? Like, it's a great family, great demeanor. I think I'm trying to get him in one of the Senior Bowls because I think he's going to really, his draft, his stock is really rising because I think of the way he's played.
All good?